Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the case of Phoenix Coldon. So let's get into it. Phoenix Lucille Coldon, originally born Phoenix Reeves on May 23, 1988 to Goldia, was later adopted by her father Lawrence Coldon, leading to a change in her last name. Although she was born in California, the family later relocated to a Spanish-speaking region due to Lawrence's job. As an only child, Phoenix was known for her inquisitive nature, intelligence, and creativity. Her exceptional talent and promise were evident from a young age. Raised in a deeply spiritual and religious household, Phoenix regularly attended church and was an active member of the choir. According to friends, Phoenix thrived on a disciplined lifestyle, and while her parents were loving and supportive, they maintained high expectations and strict guidelines. Phoenix expressed a desire to break free from her sheltered upbringing and experience the broader world of school and college, having been mostly homeschooled since the 6th grade. She was a diligent student and a high achiever. Her primary passion was music, where she excelled in both violin and piano, and she also earned accolades as a regional junior fencing champion. In 2017, Phoenix enrolled at the University of Missouri and moved into an apartment, a transition her parents supported under the assumption she was simply moving in with a friend. Around this time, Phoenix began exhibiting noticeable changes in behavior, frequently arguing with her parents. This shift was significant as she had transitioned from a relatively sheltered upbringing to the more expansive and open environment of university life, potentially straining her relationship with her parents. What they were unaware of was that Phoenix was in a relationship with a man named Michael B, and she was actually living with him in the apartment. Despite frequent visits to the apartment, Phoenix's mother was oblivious to the presence of Michael B, as there were no indications of a secret living boyfriend. Friends speculated that Phoenix felt compelled to keep her relationship hidden, as it was the only way she could see Michael B. Upon discovering the relationship, Goldia expressed disapproval, stating that Michael B was not someone she would have chosen for her daughter. Phoenix's academic performance began to decline as she missed classes and failed to register for a full semester, a fact that her parents and friends would remain unaware of for some time. In early 2011, Phoenix started withdrawing money from the family's safe, which contained savings bonds in her mother's name. Though the money was technically Phoenix's, the total amount taken was approximately $2,500, and its whereabouts remain unknown. In May 2011, Phoenix moved back into the family home, citing financial reasons. It was more economical for her parents to support her living at home while she studied at university rather than pay for an apartment. However, Goldia was unaware that Phoenix was not attending university during this period. When Phoenix returned home from college, those who knew her noticed a dramatic change in her behavior. Her friend observed that she had started experimenting with drugs, had more frequent arguments with her parents, and was increasingly isolating herself. Akira, her best friend and neighbour, remarked that Phoenix seemed like a different person, paranoid, irritable, and erratic. During a minor argument, Phoenix even brandished a 10-inch knife at Akira, keeping it hidden in her car door without any explanation. Although their friendship endured, Akira sensed something was deeply wrong, but the cause remained elusive. Phoenix began spending long periods sitting in her car, engrossed in her phone, which led her mother to question why she required so much privacy even within their home. It was later discovered that Phoenix owned 2 phones, one on a family plan and another she appeared to be paying for herself. This revelation suggested that Phoenix's life was far more complicated than anyone had realized. On December 18, 2011, the day began like any other in the Coldon household. Phoenix and her mother attended the 11 a.m. Sunday church service, where Phoenix played in the bell choir. Fellow churchgoers and the pastor noted nothing unusual about Phoenix that day. After the service, Phoenix and her mother stopped briefly at a convenience store before heading home. During the car ride, Phoenix expressed a desire to return to how things used to be, which gave Goldia hope for improving their relationship. They arrived home around 2 p.m, where Phoenix changed into sweatpants and a hoodie and went outside to play basketball. Just after 3 p.m, Phoenix picked up her phone, passed her father who had just returned from work without speaking, and got into her 1998 Chevy Blazer. She drove away from the house, and Lawrence, assuming she was either going shopping or visiting friends, didn't think much of it. Tragically, this would be the last time he saw his daughter. The events of December 18th would soon take a dark and unsettling turn. Phoenix had always adhered to her parents' curfew of 1 a.m. and had never stayed out all night. When she failed to return home the next morning, Goldia had an unsettling feeling that something serious had happened. When she reported Phoenix missing to the St. Louis County Police Department, she encountered resistance. The officer who took the report dismissed her concerns, stating that Phoenix, being 23 years old, was free to make her own decisions. Despite this, Goldia was convinced that Phoenix's behaviour was out of character and her age should not diminish the urgency of the situation. The officer checked the license plate of Phoenix's car but found no new information. Desperate and anxious, Goldia and Lawrence decided to take action themselves. They contacted local hospitals to see if anyone matching Phoenix's description had been admitted and began distributing flyers. They also reached out to television networks in hopes of gaining media coverage, but their appeals were largely ignored. Feeling abandoned and frustrated by the lack of media and police attention, the Coldon family worked tirelessly to keep Phoenix's case in the public eye. About 2 weeks after her disappearance, they managed to locate her car, which had been impounded in a tow yard. The car had been there since the day Phoenix went missing. It was found just a 25-minute drive from her home, discovered at 5:30 p.m, approximately 3 hours after she had left. The car had been impounded less than an hour after it was discovered. In 2018, the Oxygen Network took a renewed interest in Phoenix Coldon's case. Investigative reporter Chandria Thomas and retired police chief Joseph Dillier led the investigation and played a crucial role in bringing Phoenix's case back into the media spotlight. Chandria's efforts were instrumental in maintaining public interest in the case. Thomas and Dillier examined the circumstances surrounding Phoenix's car, which had been the subject of conflicting reports. Initially, it was reported that the car was found on the side of the road with the engine running, keys in the ignition and the driver's side door open. Phoenix's shoes and purse were also reportedly inside the car. However, when Chandria and Joseph met with Officer Perry, who had first discovered the car, he provided a different account. According to Perry, the car had its doors closed, the keys were not in the ignition, and aside from a few random items, there was nothing significant inside. He described the scene as if the car had been pulled over and parked, possibly due to running out of fuel. When Perry checked the license plate, no alerts for theft or suspicious activity appeared, and the car was subsequently towed. This lack of alert might be attributed to the car being in a different jurisdiction, which could have prevented connections to Phoenix's missing person report from being made. At the time the car was found, Phoenix had not yet been listed as missing. DNA analysis of the car later confirmed that the only genetic material present was from Phoenix and her parents. The discovery of Phoenix's car in a rundown and dangerous area of eastern St. Louis deeply troubled Goldia. The location was notorious for crime and drug activity, and Goldia felt that Phoenix would have had no reason to be in such a part of town. This raised several unsettling questions. Was the car stolen, driven to this location, and then abandoned? Did Phoenix drive it there herself and leave it? Or was she possibly taken from inside the car? The 2018 review of the case brought to light new evidence from Phoenix's phone records. On December 17th, the day before she was last seen, Phoenix made a total of 10 calls to her secret boyfriend, Michael B., using her family plan phone. The final call on December 18th lasted 116 minutes. Records indicated that the last person Phoenix spoke to using this phone was again Michael B. This call, made at 1:46 p.m, lasted just 1 minute and appeared to be the last communication she made from that phone. While investigators kept details about the phone records and coordinates confidential, they clarified that although Michael B. had initially seemed evasive, he was actually very cooperative with the investigation. The officers were confident that he was not involved in Phoenix's disappearance. An early theory in Phoenix Coldon's case, which persists to this day, is that she may have been abducted by a human trafficking ring. The St. Louis area is known for high rates of human trafficking, and the highway near where her car was found, Interstate 70, is infamously known as the Trafficking Highway. This theory gained some traction when a picture of someone who resembled Phoenix began circulating on a sex website, though it is widely believed to have been a malicious hoax. Another prevalent theory is that Phoenix might have sought to escape the pressures in her life and start anew. Her best friend Akira reported that Phoenix had expressed a desire to leave everything behind, though she never specified where she planned to go. Phoenix's family disputes the idea that she ran away, believing it does not align with her character or circumstances. Additionally, Akira claimed that Phoenix was involved with another man, also named Mike, referred to as Cell Phone Mike. This relationship, Akira suggested, might explain the existence of the second phone. An interview with one of Cell Phone Mike's ex-girlfriends revealed that he had been violent with her, leading to a restraining order. She noted that Mike had shown a peculiar interest in Phoenix's case, frequently researching it online. When she questioned him about Phoenix, Mike responded with a chilling remark: "Why are you worrying about someone who's dead?" It remains unclear whether Cell Phone Mike had any involvement in Phoenix Coldon's disappearance, or if his comment was merely a speculative, albeit insensitive, remark. A particularly haunting element of the case is a video of Phoenix filmed just a month before her disappearance. In this video, Phoenix is seen sitting in her car, speaking in a deeply emotional and distressed manner. Although the full video has not been released, Chandria Thomas and Joseph Dillier examined it closely during their investigation to gain a clearer understanding of the content. They consulted an audio engineer. In the video, Phoenix asks God to help her accept the things that she cannot change, saying, "I probably would have been in a better situation if I would have just stuck with how I used to be." She also remarks, "The only person that won't let me down is me." Her emotional state and the depth of her distress suggest she was grappling with significant personal issues. In March 2010, a reported sighting of Phoenix Coldon emerged. A friend from Phoenix's church who was preparing to board a flight from Las Vegas claimed to have seen Phoenix walking past her in the plane's aisle. She was with a group of women and 2 older men. The friend called out to her, and the woman who resembled Phoenix responded, "Sorry, do I look like someone?" before continuing on. The friend noted that the woman resembled Phoenix and that the men appeared to be about 10 years older. After landing, she reported the sighting to the service desk. Despite a thorough search by the police, no trace of the woman was found. The friend was highly confident, rating her certainty at a 9 out of 10 that the woman she saw was Phoenix Coldon. Numerous tips were received, but most led to dead ends, including false claims of phone calls from someone pretending to be Phoenix and unverified reports that she was involved in a cult. However, one particularly costly tip claimed to have credible information about Phoenix's location. Goldia and Lawrence invested their remaining savings in a private investigator to pursue this lead, only to find it was a cruel hoax. The financial strain forced them to sell their home quickly and move away from the area they had cherished, adding to their deepening distress. During the 2018 investigation into Phoenix Coldon's case, Chandria Thomas and Joe Dillier uncovered that Phoenix had 2 birth certificates, one under the name Phoenix Coldon and another under Phoenix Reeves. A private investigator examined the certificate under the name Phoenix Reeves and discovered that a person named Phoenix Reeves did exist, but there was no social security number or associated birth dates for this individual. The only connection was an address listed as being occupied between January 2012 and June 2012. Before January 2012, there was no record of Phoenix Reeves, and this person vanished after June 2012. However, the current resident of that address at the time of the 2018 investigation stated that she had lived there alone since 2002 and had never had a tenant named Phoenix. Despite the eerie coincidence, it appeared to be just that, a peculiar but unremarkable coincidence. What remains certain is that since Phoenix disappeared, there have been no transactions from her bank accounts, no renewals of her identification, and no digital activity. Her online presence and financial activity abruptly ceased on December 18, 2011. This stark absence of activity has kept the possibility of her case involving foul play or even homicide firmly on the table. The fate of 23-year-old Phoenix Coldon, who disappeared on December 18, 2011, remains a complete mystery. Despite extensive investigations and numerous theories, no trace of her has ever been found. Whether she was abducted that day or chose to leave her old life behind remains unresolved. The case is still open and her family and friends continue to search for answers. Her parents hold on to the belief that she is still alive and being held against her will, and they have never given up hope of her return. If you have any information regarding Phoenix Coldon's disappearance or her whereabouts, please contact the Spanish Lake Police Department. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a thumbs up because that really helps me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.